Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So I'm going ahead and I'm helping Sweet out on his farm here, as he's a little worried about the rain that we've got heading in over the next few days and whether he's going to get done. So I'm going to go ahead and help him out as I've got some time compared to what I need to do on finishing the field. So I've taken a break from planting on the fields that I'm leasing, and I'm helping him out here. So, yeah, we've been chatting. I just didn't know if he wanted me to drag my combine up, and we run 2 combines, but it sounds like he's moving some grass and so forth. So I'm just kind of checking with him, because the other piece is, I'm assuming he's doing straw swaths because he's going to do something with it. He's got 2 dairy barns, I believe. So my guess is he's just going to pick it up, not bale it. So it's actually not terrible, other than running it over, and rye creates a lot of straw. But yeah, with the concern of rain, getting that off the field is going to be important as well. So I decided I'd go ahead and make a separate episode here of helping out on the harvest, just so you guys can experience that from an FSN standpoint, because that's the reality of what I'm doing at this point. And that's kind of the point of the series, is sharing what's happening. So, whoops. And if I pay attention, that would be helpful too. I just assumed the harvester was not empty, or was empty, so shame on me. Luckily, it was a small part of the crop. But let me hop over here to his truck. I'm assuming this is what he's collecting in. Yep. So run that over to the combine and get that going. Alright, so I will hop in. Not sure what he's doing. Oh, he's mowing his grass. Okay. So that's what he meant about the grass, is he's literally collecting the grass. But yeah, there's not much rye here, so this won't be that hard to knock out. And then I'll continue helping him as long as he wants the help. And we'll be doing that. So part of what I like in FSN is exactly this part of the multiplayer, where that stream is just interesting how it's curved. Maybe it always does that, but I don't know that I've noticed it doing it that way. That was just very strange. So, anyway, not sure why this is. I thought I turned the offset off. I don't understand. So, anyway, there we go. Maybe it's just a bit of a hill? I'm not sure, because it should really be going closer to 6 miles an hour, not 4. So that's my confusion here, is what is exactly happening. But yeah, this combine is one he's borrowing from Sears, who's the person, the FM I'm leasing the fields from. So since Sears is unable to play right now, he's offered to let Swede use the harvester, and obviously that became the opportunity for me to lease the fields. So and just all that ability of just a lot of different type of things, whatever you want to call it, variation above what you'd be doing in single player, because in single player obviously you could mimic some of that with helpers and so forth, but obviously it's different because the helpers aren't sitting there talking with you, negotiating, planning, and so forth. Like, you're doing it all yourself. So while you're somewhat pretending that there's multiple farms involved, it's vastly different than when there actually are multiple farms involved. And we're sitting here working together and trying to help each other out. So this sense of community, and partly what is the nostalgia part to me of farming, where I don't know, I'd like to say every American at some point gets that draw of, maybe I should just run off and be a farmer, because there's this ideal of what that life is like. And certainly, all the YouTubers out there that show us real life farming have probably started to put a dent into some of that, because I've certainly watched several of them, and you see things where I would say, it seems to me, and it could just be video editing, but when I watch someone like Millennial Farmer, it seems like half of his time, if not more, is spent fixing things, whether it's the corn dryer or equipment, rather than farming per se. I mean, that's all part of being able to farm, is maintaining your equipment and so forth, but to me that is less ideal than the part that we're enjoying here, which is the sense of community, helping out, just work in the field, driving a harvester, driving a planter. That's the piece that we're not required to do in Farming Simulator, is sit there and repair equipment, or figure out how to put duct tape on a pipe in the corn dryer and so forth, because corn's spewing out of some random place that we can't find, or cleaning it out, or getting in the silo and cleaning it out. We don't have to do any of those dirty jobs per se of farming. But in any event, part of what I have always found appealing is just that sense of community and helping each other out. I was watching the hopper, and I'm like, it's getting close, and I did it again. Swede's gonna kill me. He's never gonna let me help again, after he watches what I've done here. So that's the bad thing with video evidence, right? So let's see. I think he's got the same case harvester I have, so I should be able to, yes, angle the pipe so I don't have to get off my line here. And I may have to move anyway, because I don't think I have enough capacity in the front here. I don't know. I'll probably play the gymnastics at this point, because I'm near the end of the row. I probably have enough that I can empty that by clearing out a little bit here, and then get to the end and turn around and then fill the back. So I guess I'll do that this time, just because. Oh, I didn't have... Man, I am just... This is just not good. I was assuming I had EV on, so I made the decisions I would with EV, which just come in hot and slam it into reverse and then it stops. So that did not work out as planned. So as I said, Sweet's gonna watch this and be like, what did I let this joker into my farm for? So we'll see. Yeah, 82%. I should be able to get to the end of this row, clean up the evidence of my stupidity, and turn around and then be able to empty once I'm full again in a few seconds here. But yeah, rye not only leaves a lot of straw, but it is a pretty quick yield as well. But obviously when I'm distracted recording and chatting and talking, as you've seen when I'm working my own farm, you know, I can't always drive and talk at the same time. So you'd think I would have learned, but obviously not. So let's see. Not really making a mess, but I'm certainly going to make it more difficult for us to pick that up. Am I down? I think yeah, I am. Alright, it's just because I've got that pile that I have to drive through that I created that... Alright, so let's not go past the 100% again. There we go. I tried to stop a little bit earlier, but there's a little bit of a downhill, so it drifted. But I didn't go into the crop this time. I thought this is just not working out. I thought I put the pipe out. I must have been putting the pipe back. I just hit the key and jumped out, making an assumption that it was what I would need. So let's see if we can get this in the truck, or if we're going to need to... Running into it again. I'm trying to hit that. I'm just going to go ahead and put EV on, just because... I don't know, maybe it always spews that grain out in a curved path like that. I just honestly have never noticed that. Just for whatever reason, it's really obvious to me that it's doing that, so we shall see. But I might be able to do this and run the harvester again before I have to run the truck, because he's got enough distance between these fields and his farm that it doesn't make a lot of sense to run a partially full truck. So I will go ahead and do that. But yeah, able to plug along a little bit further, so let's go. Don't think I'm going to be able to finish this off before I get to the grass, so I think I'll be full before that. I'll try to pay better attention this time to make sure I don't run over any of his crop. So, anyway, I'm at least fessing up to my bad habits. I don't want to be anything less than a diligent worker, and certainly let my boss know when I've made a mistake, so try to do better, but yeah, why is this driving so... I don't understand why it's only going Now it's finally up to 6. It's like the harvester's on econo mode or something. So anyway, it's running over with some gas, and as you see, I just admitted I'm so oblivious to the state of this equipment. I just hopped in and just go, you know, and didn't realize this harvester was half full or whatever when I got in. Honestly, I have no idea how full it was, other than it was clearly full because I ran into the field very quickly. But yeah, I'm not sure why it's running so slow. Yeah, typically equipment will slow down if the maintenance is needed on it, but it's only at 5%. That's not gonna really create the problem. Yeah, we're gonna be at over 80% before we even get to the end of this row. That is nuts. But so yeah, at this point I'm just gonna wait here. He's got to refill me anyway. He's probably gonna just refill me on the go. But alright, he can refill. I can go get the truck. And then get that back to his silo, which I'm gonna have to figure out where it is because I've not worked this on his farm. Yeah, because like in this case, you know, the container, even the truck, I mean, it's up at 20%. So so we're getting that refueled. And that should be good. Yep. I'm going to shut it off. Get this back to his silo, and then I'll come back and continue with the field. So at this point, I've probably babbled on enough, caused enough crop damage. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. He wants me to actually sell it at Stevens. I see. So that is not what I expected, so I'm glad he let me know, because otherwise I'd obviously be going to try to store it. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense since he's been a logging, you know, or a tree operation and a dairy operation. It is kind of where he seems to have the focus. Oh, there you go. So Another FSN consideration, as you can see, he has to buy new haylofts, and he doesn't have time to transfer the money. So what that is because of the 24 to 72 hours, and things have been potentially taking a bit longer, just because of FS22 and getting people moved into servers. Sometimes tickets are even taking more time. So, there's a possibility it could take longer than 72 hours, and he wants to buy the haylofts. So, is it not? Oh, I don't think I have. What am I missing here? This should be the sell point. Why? Do I not know? Okay. I've not used this type of equipment before, so clearly I was on the wrong... There we go. I was on the wrong item. So, because they're hook lifts, you've got the trailer and the hopper, or the container as it appears to be called in the EV mod. And can I go around? Yeah. Alright. You can tell how often I've used St. Stephen's or any of the sell points on the map. I don't even know the road network here. But anyway, so because he needs to buy something in-game and he doesn't have time to transfer money in, he's going ahead and selling, even though he's probably making less money than he could because of timing. Because he doesn't want to obviously leave the straw in the fields. It impacts server performance, and with rain coming, it will potentially all vanish. So he'd lose all that straw, which obviously is not what he'd want to do. Alright, so he's left the truck here in case we need it. I don't think we will, but that's what he's done so far. So I'm going to go ahead and fill the back container. So once again, since we can angle the pipe here, I can use the front container when I'm going both directions that way. And now that I have my EV on, I can come up here and then quickly reverse instead of blowing by like I was before. Alright. And then we'll go in and hop back in here. And once we're empty, we'll keep going. So anyway, what I was saying, before I had more to say, is I babbled on long enough. I'm going to go ahead and we'll keep plowing along until there's something else to chat about. Alright, so I'm heading over to Field 94. So, gonna go ahead and harvest the rye there. We did come across something neither of us were aware of, so again, we're always learning in FSN. When I went to dump that trailer at Stevens, we found out later the money ended up in my farm, which I can get to him through a check later, so it's okay that he'll get the money, but the problem is he's trying to get money in game, and I can't give it to him in game, so it kind of created a problem. So at this point, I'm simply letting him know when the truck is full so that he can go and dump it, which he did, because we filled it up again, and in the process I've harvested another 7,000 liters of rye off those fields before I finished, and now I'm headed over to 94, and hopefully we can get another truck at least off there, and hopefully that still doesn't thwart his plans to get a hayloft. He also had his mower run into the river over there on the left. You can, I think, see the swath where it just kind of continued across the field. He had an emergency with one of his kids and had to step away from the computer and thought he had stopped the mower and hadn't, and when he came back he found it in the river. So always exciting stuff. So I see he's got the truck there. I see the mower moving along. So he's plowing along, getting things done. And yeah, he indicated part of why he mows the way he does is so he doesn't go into my fields and mow them down. So I told him I certainly appreciate that. Although I haven't been the best friend in not destroying crops with my harvester woes. The other thing we've discovered is, I don't know if you've noticed, but this harvester is very rarely getting up to the 6 miles per hour of speed that you would expect for a harvester. And what we think it is, because he said Sears, who's the owner of this harvester and this header, had determined was this header's actually kind of oversized for this this harvester. So basically it's taking too much power to operate, and we think that's what's going on. I should be able to go from the end there, so we'll go ahead and do that. And yeah, I also realized at the end here exactly how much I don't enjoy header trailers. So I'm perfectly fine with my slightly smaller header at 45 feet instead of 60 feet, just to not have to deal with the joy that is header trailers. So but anyhow, let me position this in a way that will maximize. You know what, I'm going to start at the other end, because it'll be just my luck that then I'm going to be running into the telephone poles. Come on, I have the header up. This is just not my day for... I mean, I have it elevated. I don't understand. Alright. I'm not sure if it's gonna let me pick that up. It will. Alright. Goodness gracious, and now it probably won't let me pick up that straw, which is ridiculous, but hopefully, because it's in a public road, it will. But yeah, okay, so we're up to 6 miles an hour now, which is great, but there were times where I was at 3, to the point where I literally got out to just make sure something wasn't disconnected, which would have been unlikely, because normally then if you don't have everything connected, the header won't work at all. So I realized that was a long shot, but then in having the discussion, yeah, we determined that he said Sears had done some testing, and on a different combine it works better, but it seems this case has a hard time with the 60-foot header. So you can see here up the hill where it's got to use just a little bit of horsepower, because it's not like it's a huge hill. Like, it's already down to 4 miles an hour. So it is wider, but I'm not sure that you're honestly not coming out as a wash between going 33% slower just because you're going a little bit wider. So, and on a map like ours that is hilly, it would seem you'd be running into situations where you are slow more often than not. So anyway, I'll get this finished up, and then we'll see what's next on the list for helping him out. I'm assuming it will be collecting this straw, maxing out his lofts, and then I think he said he's got bale stores in the woods over there. He's clearly got some here on this field, which I knew. So it sounds like it'll be fill hay lofts and then bale. So at some point I may need to break off and not assist him, but for now I'm going to continue to aid him and try to help him stay ahead of this work. Done with the rye, going to drop it off here to let him sell it off, and I'll pop this header back on the trailer and get going. At this point, he said he might, if I'm still willing to keep helping, putting water in the cow barns is what he needs. He thinks he's going to be able to handle the rest of this on his own. There's a lot of it, as you can tell, and this is just one field. We've got all the stuff back, so I'm kind of in the middle of chatting with him, just making sure he doesn't want any additional help with it, because we do want to get this stuff off the ground. But right now he says he's good, so I'm going to help him with water for a bit, and I guess that'll be it, because I think he also said he's taking a break at this point, which means he's not going to be here for me to ask. Oh, goodness. I think I need to go on the other side. I think I ran into this. At the other end as well, it was parked in a weird location, so it was hard to tell if it was the terrain or the wrong side of the trailer, but now that I think about it, I think it's this side that I need to put this on, which again is part of why header trailers are just not something I choose to use if I don't have to. Goodness. What is going on? Here we go. But I'll get this off the field so that when he's collecting this, he's not having to move it. And it's just obviously the right thing to do to tidy up. Yeah, this harvester just floats a lot more. I'm not quite sure why it keeps shutting off every time I get in and out. It shouldn't be doing that, but it might have to do. I'm not sure, again, how multiplayer servers handle stuff like that. Maybe because it's different equipment from someone else, it does that, but I don't know. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this over here. I think that'll be out of the way enough. Maybe. No, I'll leave it connected, but I don't want to block the cow barns because I need to do that. So he's told me there's a water tank and some IT runners. There's a water tank in between. I see, there's the tanks. Okay. Where is the water tank? Oh, literally right there. Okay. So I think, yeah, I need the truck he's got at this point. And then I'll be good to go. Oh, he's cleaning it up. So we'll let him finish that up. Alright, he probably saw it after I did, and now he sees I'm moving, so... Just trying to figure out where to drop these. Why is it not letting me go to the back? Alright, so I think we'll be good. Didn't realize they weren't both IT runners. So, let's see, I think I have... Not sure I understand what he's suggesting, but maybe these things take a while to work. So he's suggesting take one and then let the other one fill. So I guess that makes sense. Alright. And now I gotta remember where you put water for a cow barn. I believe it's on the other side. Or maybe it's here. Might be on the other side. It's been a while since I've worked a cow barn, so it's not second nature anymore. But that's the milk pickup. Alright, so I think I was right, but I know the trigger point is really small. So let's see. And I'm wondering if it's because I have the chat window up. Yeah, normally, what I'm bringing up is normally I'd be a contractor on the farm, and so therefore I get the same visibility to the farm information, but because we can't leave our farm on the servers here, like, I can't look. Alright, so what he's suggesting is then basically I put this here and let this fill, and in theory it will keep filling while I, why is this not, oh. I'm like, why is it not disconnecting? But that's because I had the wrong thing selected, which may also be why I wasn't seeing the trigger. I am just very well equipped today. So, let's see. Let me switch now, because I know the trigger is very tiny, and that was part of the challenge, but there we go. I think it may have been because I didn't have the tanker selected. Again, I haven't used these IT runners a lot myself, so it's definitely different. But I'm trying to recall how much. I think these might take 500,000 in water. Okay. Alright, so I will just run water for him until I either fill him up or get bored. So, tag along, and I'll see you at the end, and we'll fill you in on what happened. Alright, so I've gone ahead and just taken care of everything for the cows. Again, I used to work a dairy farm for someone else for a while, so I'm pretty familiar with the process. So we fed them up, topped them up with TMR, cleaned up, mucked out the stables, gotten the silage back into the TMR mixers. So that should put him in a pretty good spot so that when he gets back on, he can focus on getting stuff off the fields and know that his cows are good for a couple days. So, glad to help out a neighbor, and hope you guys enjoyed the little visit over here to Wild Moose Farms. And I'm going to go get back on my planting. See you next time. So, Wild Moose Swede got back on. Wanted some help with selling the bales, so we have to verify for a bale contract in FSN. So I came and audited and counted, and then he realized he had put out a contract for having that one straw bale store there. It's not quite full. It has 144 bales instead of 168. And so he was going to go ahead and bail. He ended up pouncing off the server at one point here. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. I'm sure he had a hiccup of some sort. So I've offered to help pick up the bales, but he only has the one tractor, so I'm bringing my tractor up here. But to avoid the problems we had with the selling of the rye at St. Stephen's, I'm going to make sure he stores them, because otherwise he may have difficulty in being able to sell them. So I don't want any of that to play into things here. So once he gets connected, we'll keep going and I'll have that conversation with him. So I'm sure we'll hear from him shortly about whatever happened, because he was in the middle of bailing in theory and suddenly he vanished. So alright, so we're all attached. There you go, client crashed. So he ended up plowing into my field and taking out some crops, so it is what it is. So all we can do is laugh. So anyway, the bale tractor will pick up 16. That'll get us to 160, and then we're going to need another 8 to top that off, because he put out a contract for 243 when he really had 219. So anyway, we're obviously talking about spikes on the server. I had let him know that between the time he was gone and the time I was working, there were definitely lag issues, and performance-wise on the server it tends to be related. So Alright, so I'm going to go drop my equipment back off, and then we'll help him finish up that bail contract, but just keeping you guys fully appraised of what I'm doing on FSN. So sorry for the attachment after the supposed end of that contract episode, or assistance episode, but unless something else comes up, this is it for sure. So I will see you next time. And there's some lag spikes again. See you in a bit.